ago, things started to deteriorate quite badly where she needed me there more and more because her mobility, she had no mobility at all. So she needed me to help her in washing, everything that was where Nick came along. And that's when I noticed I needed help. But I'm quite a resourceful chap, so I dug around to see what was available and whom I could speak to. I would have carried on doing it as best I could until I got to the point I couldn't do it anymore. And I joined a couple of groups. The dementia group was one I joined, which was quite useful. But then I needed some more assistance, more locally. And that was where I couldn't find it. No matter how I tried, I couldn't get it. And it was just this chance conversation I had with the lady at the coffee bar that brought Kelly along. I'd been into the hospital to visit my wife, and I decided I needed a cup of coffee while the nurses were doing something. And I nipped upstairs to have a coffee and found that the cafe in the Ladysmith building was open. So I popped in there for coffee. And the lady serving said it's a decafe this morning. She told me all about it. I knew nothing about the Admiral nurse at that point. I told her that my wife was suffering with vascular dementia. And she said, would you like to get contact with our Admiral nurse? I said, yes, certainly. And that's how it began. As time progressed and Gladys's health and mental health deteriorated, Kelly came more and more often, and she was a real support. I mean, she acted quite accurately as a signpost to offering different people who could possibly help out and the different resources that were available. Kelly was there to help and guide me through other things which I didn't know about. She was there as a voice to speak to, not as just an official body or as a nurse. She was there as a person, and we could talk quite openly, as I would now, quite freely with her. And that was great. It was Kelly's kind of support that motivated me to continue doing what I was doing. I may have looked at it very differently had I not had that support. But I would have fought against putting Gladys in a home, that's for sure. I think that Kelly, as the Admiral nurse, was a major factor in my maintaining sanity, if you wish, and my resolution to keep going, knowing that Kelly was there all the time in the background. If I needed her, I could ring her at any time. I knew she would support me, whatever the situation was. She was supporting the ideas I had about how to tackle it in the future, how they would go, what I can do now, what I may have to do later, and ultimately what may have to be done because it's out of my control. I'm not saying there are not other agencies who can help, but those other agencies tend to look at the patient in a very clinical and professional way rather than in a personal way. It's a wonderful support to have prior to someone dying, and it's a super support afterwards. You know, it's so important.